Hello and welcome. For today's practice, we will be doing a yin inspired practice. So if you are not familiar with yin yoga, it is a practice in stillness. So we won't be doing a lot of moving. The shapes that we do will be held for several minutes at a time. So yin yoga, in regards to what we're doing here for mental health, yin yoga is really amazing for releasing emotional tension, because when we hold shapes for a longer period of time, it really allows us to release physically but also mentally. So if there is any built up emotions, anxiety, maybe this is a chaotic time of year for you, I invite you to join me in this practice and release some of that stress, anxiety, tension, whatever it is that you have. So for today's practice, I do encourage you, if you have some yoga blocks, to grab a couple of those. If you don't have yoga blocks, that's fine. You can grab a couple of thicker books. Just something to give you the same idea as a yoga block would give you, because we are for sure using these. So grab yourself yoga blocks or something similar. And then just in case, I invite you to maybe grab a blanket in case you need it for some extra cushioning. And then last thing, just in case, is a yoga bolster. If you don't have a yoga bolster, grab a couple of firmer pillows that you have and stack them up. That'll be just as good. So the goal for today's practice in using these props is to bring the ground closer to you. So these are all optional except for the blocks. I definitely say grab some blocks, grab some books, whatever you have. Alrighty, so to start, I invite you just to join me in an easy seat, maybe cross one foot in front of the other. And then maybe start to bring your palms of your hands onto your legs or your knees, and maybe face them palms down. So the goal of today's practice is to really ground down. So facing your palms down will help with that. And then if you want to close your eyes, if you're comfortable doing that, I invite you to do so. And if that's not comfortable for you, you can just have a soft gaze down in front of you. And let's just start to check in with where you're at today. So whatever part of the day it is for you, morning, afternoon, evening, notice where you're at today. Maybe take inventory of where you are in your week. How has your week gone? Has it felt more chaotic? Has it felt more restful? Where are you landing right now? Maybe start to notice any physical tension right off the bat that you may be feeling. So maybe start to bring awareness to your shoulders, maybe your neck. And can you let your shoulders be just a little bit heavier down your back here? And then maybe you start to draw your attention and your awareness down to your sit bones and your hips. So can you allow your sit bones to be just a little bit heavier, a little bit more grounded towards your mat or whatever is underneath you? And then maybe start to bring awareness to your breath. Just starting to notice your inhales and exhales. Maybe you notice that your breathing is a little bit more shallow, or maybe it's easy to breathe a little bit more deeply. No need to change or modify here, just bringing awareness to what your breath is like. And then if you would like to set an intention for this practice, I invite you to do so. So setting an intention can be as simple as, what do I need for this next few minutes for myself? What does my body need? What does my brain need? Maybe you just need some self-care, a moment of quiet, some stillness away from the chaos of life. Maybe you want to feel a little less anxious when you leave this practice. Whatever it is, just ask yourself, what do I need? And then maybe start to deepen your breath just a little bit. So maybe you inhale for a few seconds longer, and then exhale, let it go for a few seconds longer. A few more rounds of breath like that. Maybe to make it easier, you inhale to a count of 4 or 5, and then exhale to a count of 4 or 5. So trying to even out your breath, both on the inhales and the exhales here. And as you continue to deepen your breath, can you maybe start to drop your chin towards your chest here? So starting to release the back of your neck. Still try to keep a straight spine here, but just let the back of your neck go. And then when you're ready, start to take your right ear to your right shoulder. You can keep your eyes closed down if that feels nice. And then maybe start to tilt your head back. It doesn't have to be the biggest head tilt here. It might be uncomfortable, but just so much so that you can take your left ear over to your left shoulder. And then go ahead and take your head back and switch right ear to your right shoulder. Let's take one more like that. Tilt your head back and over to the left. Drop your left ear. And then this time go ahead and start to bring your chin forward towards your chest once again. Awesome. Go ahead and look up. And then just start to take some shoulder rolls one direction. And then take them the other direction. Awesome. You can come to a place of stillness. We are going to move into our first shape of practice. So I invite you to take either your blocks or your books, whatever you have, and we are going to move into what we call a lung bench. So sounds kind of strange if you haven't done it before, but what you're going to do is take your blocks or your books and set them down like so. Let me move my blanket. You're going to set them parallel, one here and one about here. You may have to adjust a little bit. So the goal is to have the back of your head. So we're going to lay down. You're going to rest the back of your head on this first block or book. And then this one is going to go just directly under your shoulder blades. So for me, whenever I do shapes like this, it always takes a little bit of maneuvering. So I will show you what we're going for here. So as I lean back, I'm going to try to readjust. And then take your head down. Probably need to readjust a little bit further front. There we go. All the way. There we go. Alrighty. So again, this might take some maneuvering. It always takes me a while to get settled. So the feeling that you want to have in your back here, you don't want to feel like you are really strained. You want it to be a big opening, and you may feel a little bit of tension because this is quite a big back bend, but you don't want to feel pain. You don't want to feel like your spine is being crunched at all. So again, just adjust, readjust, whatever feels good here. And then for your legs, option, I don't have much room here, but option to bring your legs out straight in front of you and just let them just fall as they do. For me, I'm going to go ahead and bring the bottoms of my feet together just for sake of room here. So your legs can be however feels nice for you, whatever feels most supportive. And again, you are going to feel some tension in your back because this is a big opener here. It's a back bend. But as you start to settle in here, again, this is a yin yoga practice. So we are going to be here for a couple of minutes. And we're going to find some stillness. And in that stillness, can you really let your whole body sink into whatever's beneath you? So if it's the back of your head, part of your back, allow those parts of you to really sink into the blocks or whatever you have underneath you supporting you. And then maybe start to bring attention to your arms, to your hands. Can you let them be heavy at your sides? And then same thing with your legs. However you've positioned your legs, can you allow them to be heavy? And if for some reason this block that's under your back, if that is super uncomfortable, maybe it just feels too hard on your back, you can always bring a blanket and place it over your block or your book just to cushion it just a little bit more. So again, it's whatever you have to do to modify to make this work in your body. And once you've settled in here, if you haven't already, maybe you start to close your eyes down. And just come back to your breath, starting to notice your inhales and your exhales. Maybe you find that it's hard to lay in stillness. That's okay. Find myself wiggling my toes sometimes if I have a hard time staying still and staying present. We'll be here for about another minute or so. And if you can you notice what it's like not only to feel that back bend behind you, but also to have an open chest and ribs and stomach. This whole part of your body is open. Maybe just notice what that feels like. Does that feel safe? Does that feel supportive? Maybe it feels a little bit vulnerable to be open like this in your front body. No matter what comes up around this, maybe nothing. Maybe you're just enjoying this stretch. Maybe you're just here in the moment. But whatever comes up or not, just take notice of that. There's no right or wrong. No judgment here for how you feel in this practice, in this shape. Take about 2 to 3 more rounds of breath. And when you are ready to come out of this shape, no matter where your legs are, go ahead and slowly start to bend at your knees and ground your feet on the ground. And then slowly, whatever side you want, start to keep your elbows grounded, especially the side that you're rolling onto, and just slowly start to roll to your side. It may feel really intense to come out of this because it's a really big back bend. Take your time here. No rush at all. We're going to meet back in a seat. And then when you arrive back in your seat, you can just move those blocks or those books, whatever you had underneath you, out of the way. Oh. Notice how your back feels. Let's just take a simple twist here so you can come back to cross-legged seat if that feels okay in your body. And we're just going to inhale. And on your exhale, take it to the right. So you're taking just a simple twist here, nothing too big. You don't want to strain this twist too much. We're just trying to even out your spine since we were in a pretty big back bend there. And then on your next inhale, come to center, and exhale, take it to the left. Couple rounds of breath. And then when you're ready, come back to center. Okay. Okay, so next shape that we are going to move into, we are going to do what's called butterfly. So what you'll do is you'll take the bottoms of your feet together And you've got two options here. So if your hips feel especially tight, you can move your feet further away from you. So that's really gonna create more space here, because what we're eventually gonna do is end up folding over. So again, if you are really tight in your hips, bring your feet out further. If you feel like you're really just loosey-goosey in your hips, you can bring your heels towards you. So the whole point of, well, not the whole point, part of the point in yin is to feel some tension as you're in these stretches so that you can eventually over time release that tension. And that's why we hold these shapes for a little bit longer, because eventually you'll notice that you start to ease into it a little bit more and feel just a little bit less tension. And the goal is to release physical tension and emotional tension. So it all kind of rounds out at the end. So last option, if you just feel like this is not doable for you at all, you can always bring a blanket and set it underneath you. So you can always sit up on a blanket if you feel like you need just a little bit of lift to help you fold over. So when you're ready, whatever variation you're taking of butterfly, go ahead and wrap your hands around the outsides of your feet. Inhale to a straight spine here. On your exhale, just slowly start to fold forward. And you don't want to pull yourself and force yourself down. You really just want to allow your body to fall as it does. So you want gravity to take you here. So for me, if I'm pulling, I could maybe get further, but that would be pulling, and I want to just be. I want to feel a little bit of a tension, but I don't want it to be too much. So just kind of notice, where do you land naturally when you let gravity take you? And can you allow your head to be really heavy here? So once you arrive in whatever variation you're taking of this shape, start to notice the back of your neck here. And really try to allow the crown of your head to be super heavy. So for me, I have to be really intentional about, okay, I'm not holding my neck up. I'm going to release it. I'm going to let the crown of my head be really heavy towards my feet. Maybe check in with your jaw here. Is it clenched? Is it a little bit tight? Can you loosen it just a little bit? Maybe even release your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. And continue to breathe. Sometimes our breathing can feel a little bit more constricted or restricted when we are folded over like this. So maybe just start to notice your inhales, your exhales. And can you let yourself go just a little bit deeper? Maybe start to bring your awareness to your hips. Any tension that you may feel in your outer hips, especially here. Notice the groundedness of your sit bones. So you're grounded firmly to the earth here. Your hips are heavy. You're allowing an opening maybe in your hips. Maybe you can even picture your neck being a little bit more elongated here. So maybe you picture a little bit of lengthening happening from your neck all the way down to the very base of your spine. About 3 more rounds of breath wherever you're at here. On your next inhale, slowly and gently start to come all the way up. Your head and neck are the last to arrive. And take a breath or two. once you arrive back in your seated shape. Alrighty. Go ahead and bring your legs out straight in front of you. I'm going to rotate so you can see my legs here. So go ahead and bring your legs straight out in front of you. So we are going to take one last forward fold, and then we'll move into our final resting shape, Shavasana. So several options here. There's always several options, especially in yin yoga. So the goal here is to fold over the legs. Bear with me if you think that you're not flexible and you hate forward folds like this. I don't love them either. I'm not super flexible with them. So the goal here is not to be able to just nicely fold over. I cannot do that either. If you can, great, that's awesome, but I cannot do that. So several options. You want to feel really, you don't want to feel like you're just hanging out, and because you're gonna have a lot of tension if you feel like you're just hanging loose, unless that feels comfortable for you. If you are comfortable just kind of letting gravity take you and you end up somewhere here or whatnot, that's totally fine. For me personally, I don't love that feeling in my body. So what I like to do, I'm still gonna feel some tension in the back of my legs and my back, but I like to stack. So to bring the ground closer to me, oh, I gotta grab my blocks. I'm going to grab my yoga bolster. If you don't have a bolster, grab a couple of pillows, 2 or 3. Try to make sure they're as firm as possible. They're not super soft and squishy. And I just like to stack. It's my favorite thing to do in yin yoga. I just stack everything up until I feel like I'm feeling some tension and I'm feeling some release in that, but I'm not just hanging loose. My head isn't dangling. I don't love that. So just start to play with it. Start to play with whatever you need to stack here. For me, that feels a little high. I don't feel like I'm feeling much of a stretch in the backs of my legs. So I'm gonna grab this blanket. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, and so what this allows me to do is still feel a little bit of tension in the backs of my legs, a little bit in my back, but it still gives me enough support so I don't just feel like I'm just floating. And we'll be here for about another minute or so. And again, can you bring awareness to the rest of your body? So can you allow your legs just to release a little bit more, especially your knees, your kneecaps. Let them be a little bit heavier. Your arms, your hands. Make sure you're not holding your arms or your hands up or clenching them. And then your forehead. Can you check in with your forehead? So whether or not you are resting your forehead on something like me, or maybe you're just letting your forehead hang loose towards your legs, towards your knees, can you check in with it? What is that sensation? Does it feel grounded? Does it feel like it's just kind of floating? Notice what's going on. There's no right or wrong here. I should have mentioned this earlier, but throughout this practice, especially when we're in any sort of practice in stillness, it's really easy for our thoughts to wander. To-do lists popping in and out, stressors, all of the things, and that is okay, that is normal. The goal is to notice the thought and notice whatever the distraction is, and then come back to the present. Starting to notice whatever you're seated on, starting to notice your breath. Take about 2 to 3 more rounds of breath here, wherever you're at. And then whenever you are ready, slowly start to come all the way back up. Alrighty, if you have a ton of stuff stacked like me, go ahead and move it out of the way. And then we will make our way to Shavasana. So Shavasana is our final resting shape, and you are welcome to choose however you would like to enter into Shavasana. If you want to just lie flat on your back with your arms at your sides and your legs out straight, you're welcome to do that. I do have one suggestion if it will feel nice in your body. So one of my favorite ways to do Shavasana is to stack a couple of blocks like so, or books, whatever you have. And then I like to take a yoga bolster or a couple of sturdy pillows, again, whatever you've got. And I enjoy bringing my legs up and over just to rest. So what this does when you are lying back, all the way back, instead of just lying everything flat, sometimes that can create pressure on your lower back. So this is really good for releasing any lower back pressure that you might have from just directly lying on your back. So I invite you wherever you're at to make your way to Shavasana. You're welcome to grab a blanket to get nice and cozy, whatever feels good. I'm going to stay in a seat and close my eyes as we settle in together. And we have just a few minutes in Shavasana today. So wherever you're at, when you settle in, maybe take a few rounds. Let's go ahead and take 3 deep breaths together. So go ahead and inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth, let it go. Inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. Last one, inhale. And exhale, let it go. You're welcome to take a few more of those cleansing, releasing breaths if that feels good for you. Or just return to your normal breath. And for Shavasana today, I just invite you to come to a place of stillness. We will be here for about 2 more minutes, 2 or 3 more minutes. Allow yourself to be really heavy towards the earth. Release your jaw, the backs of your shoulders, your arms, your legs. And I will check back in with you in just a couple minutes. to stay here for as long as you would like. So if you don't have anywhere to be right after this and you're feeling super grounded, maybe you've had some emotion come up, I invite you to just stay. If you would like to follow along with me, you're welcome to stay where you're at, lying down, however you're taking Shavasana. And I'm going to say an affirmation. If it resonates with you, you're welcome to repeat it after me, and we'll say it 6 times, and then we'll end our practice together. So wherever you're at, the affirmation is, I am grounded and I am in control of my own life. Let's repeat that 6 times. I am grounded and I am in control of my own life. I am grounded and I am in control of my own life. I am grounded and I am in control of my own life. I am grounded and I am in control of my own life. I am grounded and I am in control of my own life. I am grounded and I am in control of my own life. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you got something out of this practice, and I will see you next time.